Credit cards. Let's talk about them.
If you're in your 20s and you keep consistently seeing people and you like, oh my God, how are they doing all this? How are they affording all of this? Blah, blah, blah. And you're really confused and you're trying to figure it out. Is really one of two, maybe even three options. The first option is credit card debt. Maybe they swiping them cards. They swiping that card. They probably have $30,000 right now in credit card debt. But they're in Bora Bora. Absolutely. The second is rich parents. Don't ever underestimate the power of a rich parent. The third is they might be scamming. They might. Small might. And then the fourth, absolute and final, is that they're really just getting to the money. But that's very low on the total poll. It's probably credit card debt.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably agree with that. I mean, first, as we've said before in previous videos, credit card debt is at an all-time high right now. Because, I mean, as we know, the cost of living right now is absolutely outrageous. It is outrageous to live a regular life. And on top of that, oh, you want to have a little bit of fun? Well, boom, swipe it on the credit card. And another thing, not only with inflation and where everything's at pricing-wise right now, I also think we're having a spending crisis due to social media. Now, hear me out for a second. So with social media, every time you're endlessly scrolling and you see some 26-year-old kid who's in a private jet and you got a 22-year-old who just bought his first Lambo, or that next person's taken 6 vacations and it's only the middle of the year and they've already gone over all over the world. Like it that's what she's saying is like most people really probably don't have the money. And so they're utilizing their credit cards in order to be able to live this life that they want to show everybody. And the comparison is the thief of joy. I say that a lot because it's very, very true. You have to be okay with understanding that there's people living out there living different lives than you, but you need to focus on your life and the life that you're living. Most people who are flexing on the internet or showing how much money they have by buying fancy luxury things, those usually aren't the wealthy people. The wealthy people are the ones who are living in a modest home, driving a modest car, but their bank accounts and their investments are stacked to high heaven.
You're spending half of your income on fun. Overdrafts this
I told you they were bad.
You absolute. I've never seen $681 of overdrafts in a year. You did it to yourself. Huh?
I said I did.
Nah. Need a juice box. $681 of overdraft in a single year. It's unheard of. $70.86 in overdraft this month alone. And mind you, all those other cards doing this thing where we're transferring money from credit cards and off credit cards so we can avoid overdraft fees. So it would probably be double. I wore this nice little shirt to have a nice good day.
It is a nice shirt.
Yo, could you imagine over $700 in overdraft fees? No way. Guys, we have got to do better than this. That is pure laziness. That is not handling your money correctly. Now, I don't know about you, but that is absolutely horrible. But I can think of something that's even worse, and that is whenever people are stealing your actual identity and then going out there and they're opening up a credit card in your name, racking up debt. That right there is scary, but there is a way to prevent that. I mean, guys, this year has been packed with high-profile data breaches, and it's made me really think how I protect my personal information online. Take AT&T for an example. I'm a customer, and they disclosed 2 major breaches this year, including my own personal information. Now, that was a wake-up call for me, especially after hearing about other breaches like Dell's 3.9 million records exposed and Ticketmaster's massive breach that was comprised of over 560 million customer records. But the most alarming one by far was from National Public Data, which suffered a breach that potentially impacted every single American. Over 2.9 billion records used for background checks were compromised, including names, addresses, social security numbers, and more. Now, if you were like I was and haven't taken your personal data security seriously, now is the time to change that. I feel a lot more secure now because I use Aura, which is today's video sponsor. Aura monitors your personal data, including social security numbers, across billions of data points like the dark web and public records to alert you about potential identity theft. They also offer up to $5 million in identity theft insurance in case the worst happens. One of the features I really appreciate is how Aura helps get your information removed from data brokers. Those people search sites that companies use to sell your data. Now, one thing that really annoyed me is I used to get spam calls all the time on my phone. But after signing up with Aura, my spam calls have dropped significantly, if not having any left at all. I'm not leaving myself or my family vulnerable to data breaches anymore. And if you don't want to either, head over to aura.com/JJBuckner to try out Aura for 2 weeks absolutely free. I'll have that link down below in the description, as well as a pinned comment for you guys to click on that to get your 2 free week trial. I highly recommend it.
I saw somebody on TikTok talking about how you can call your credit card company to see about lowering interest rates for your credit card. So I figured I'd give it a try. I called Chase for my Amazon Prime account. My interest rate is at 26.99% and my minimum payment is $410. They said there isn't a way for them to lower the interest rate, but they could find other ways to work with me. And I don't know if they're trained to say the things that they say, but this guy that I talked to was so genuine sounding, and he said before we got off the phone, promise me one thing: do not let the stress of your finances come between your health and your family, to make sure you take care of yourself. And I was just like, what? Is this real? Like, it really made me cry. So by the end of the call, we were able to set up a 3-month payment plan to break down my minimum payment. So if you're finding yourself in credit card debt, go ahead and give this a try.
That's a great tip, guys. I mean, if you guys are seriously struggling right now and you are having trouble making your minimum payments on credit cards, call them up. Call up your credit card company and see if they can work with you. Another thing you can look at is debt consolidation. The one thing with debt consolidation that you have to remember is it's not a band-aid to fix the issue. Think about the reason why you got in this credit card debt in the first place. It's because of decisions that you made. Decisions that you made financially is the reason you're in this spot. Now, when you take that ownership and you understand that, and you tell yourself, I'm not going to let myself get back into this situation again, that's where debt consolidation can be a huge benefit. The reason for that is because whenever you have debt consolidation, you're able to take equity from your home or whatever type of loan product that you want to use, and you can use that to pay off the high interest credit card debt that is usually at 26, 27, sometimes 30+% in interest, and you can have a much lower interest rate on that credit card debt that you can pay the credit cards off, and then now you're making payments on some sort of debt consolidation product with an interest rate way less than the credit card that you have currently. Now, I will recommend, if you know you are a big spender and you know it's going to be hard for you once you get that debt consolidation done, and you're probably going to go right back to the credit cards and start swiping them again, you cannot do that, guys. That is a major issue. If you cannot handle credit cards responsibly, meaning you pay them off every single month and you never pay interest on your cards, you need to cut them puppies up, and you need to strictly use a debit card or cash to pay for everything in your lifestyle. And if you come to find out that you can't afford your lifestyle based on what's inside your checking account, you got to have a big conversation with yourself, and some major changes are really going to have to happen. But that is a great tip, and that's something to look into. And if you guys have any questions about debt consolidation or maybe tapping into equity in your home, I am a licensed loan officer, so if you guys want to reach out to me and ask any questions, you can send me an email at jj@firstteammortgage.com, and I'll be happy to assist you.
Imagine being me, okay, and your credit card payment is due today. The minimum payment that you can make is $165. There's only $100 in your personal checking account. You don't have a personal savings account right now. You have to go to your business bank account to withdraw money to make your minimum credit card payment, and you're 30 years old and still believing that you're going to be the person who creates generational wealth for you and your family.
That one's a little tough. If I was in that situation where I literally had $100 to my name in a checking account, and then it sounded like she had some sort of business account she was pulling money out of, some changes are going to have to be made. I would be looking at that as a dire situation that needs, literally, it's an emergency. That's big time, guys. Think about this. If you're watching this video right now, let's say a $1,000 expense happened. You got to get something fixed on your car, or you got to get something fixed inside the house, whatever it is. $1,000. Can you afford that right now without using a credit card? Be honest with yourself. Can you pay the $1,000 expense upfront with cash or a debit card, not having to utilize debt? If your answer to that question is no, you need to really think about making some serious financial changes in your life. And I don't know if maybe you've just never been told this, or you never really took it to heart or thought about thinking about this way. But if you seriously cannot afford a $1,000 expense from cash you have sitting in savings, you really need to make some big changes financially in your life. And I'm stressing on this because that is freaking scary, guys. The fact that there are people walking around everyday life not having more than $1,000 to their name, and if something major happens or catastrophic happens, they're like, what would you do? Now I understand getting started, it's tough right now and times are tough and everything's expensive. But the reason I'm saying this is to kind of open some people's eyes, because there's a lot of people I talk to on a daily basis that think that's normal. It's not, guys. That is not healthy at all. And it needs to be fixed. And the best way to start fixing that is by getting on a budget. Track every single dollar you spend and make sure you're putting every single dollar that you earn to work. Meaning you have a job outlined for every single dollar. It's either going to buy groceries, it's going to pay rent, it's going to pay your mortgage, your car payment, whatever it is. Any money you have left over is either going to go into savings or it's going to pay off debt. That's a very elementary, basic way of budgeting. If you cannot afford a $1,000 expense right now, you really, really need to make some serious changes, guys.
18 years without you purchasing on this is how long this takes you to pay off. Without you purchasing. With your purchasing, you'll be in your 60s.
Okay, that's a long time.
Uh-huh.
I thought maybe a few years.
Okay. Well, programmer doesn't know how to look at a number.
Well, I don't like looking at them.
Okay.
But, I could do the math,
Don't have to. It's right there for
if I
you.
wanted to.
No need.
Oh,
It's on the
it
statement.
says 18 years?
18 years, only the minimum payment. So it doesn't even matter, though, because you
Oh, shoot. I
spend
didn't know
money on
that.
it.
I did not know that. It had that.
Well, you did Amazon purchases. It's at 24.49% interest. It's at $1,000, $1,090 of interest on this card this year so far. $1,000, and then $156 of fees this year. Who knows what the for?
Probably
Missed
late
payments. Why? Why would we? You make too much money. You're so undisciplined. No, you're
yeah.
too lazy, or you just don't care. I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure that out.
I think it's at any given moment, it could be any of those. Is what it kind of feels like to me. I'm trying to really get out of the not caring part.
Okay,
because
what
it's
is your trying then? Tell me. Describe this trying. What's trying?
I've gone through the Spravato treatments.
Okay. Yes.
I'm seeing a new prescriber. We're trying lithium. I may be a candidate for electroconvulsive therapy.
Oh gosh.
Which fairly invasive, but
I don't know. This is just out of my wheelhouse.
It's just. I think maybe I'm relying too much on that kind of stuff.
I was gonna say, did you do therapy without medication first?
I did. I had a therapist for about 4 years,
and
she was just too nice to me.
Okay, so get a different one.
Yeah, but then I felt bad about breaking up with her.
Oh my.
Yeah,
dude. No offense, but you're kind of a paycheck to her.
I know, but it didn't feel that way. To me. Because she was very nice.
No, they are very nice. It's not like they don't have any empathy. Empathy goes away because it's a business. That's not how it works. But it is a business. She would understand if you saw a different therapist.
And she did.
All right, let's get serious here for a second, boys. And this applies to you women as well, but I just saw the clip and I need to express some of my feelings. Listen, mental health and stuff like that is a serious issue. I want to start off by saying that. But what I also feel like I need to say is there is a lot of people out there that use stuff like that as an excuse to be lazy, to forget, to not try hard, to not do things. And if that's the way you want to live, I mean, no sweat off my back. Like, so be it. Live a life like that, and if you're happy with it, sweet. But what happened to, like, us men, like, being tough, not taking no for an answer, having continuous drive to do better? Like, where... And I know there's men out there that are like that. I mean, we see them all day. We see them on this channel when I watch these videos. But sometimes I watch these clips and I see these thought process of these people, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't get the excuse victim mindset, because, like, ultimately you put yourself in this situation. And yes, you can blame it on whatever you got going on. I mean, I got stuff going on up in my head, but I don't use it as a crutch. I don't use it as an excuse. I hate that I have to deal with it. But as a man, I look at it and I'm like, first, I look at it in the different perspective. I'm like, okay, I'm struggling with this right now. I got this going on. I'm stressed, whatever it is. But first, I'm freaking breathing, guys. Like, I'm here. I'm alive. I'm doing, I get to spend time with my wife and my kids. The other perspective I look at is somebody has always got it worse off than me. So it may be tough right now, or you may want to be lazy and not deal with it, but you have to understand somebody's always got it worse. So you might as well just pick yourself up, pay attention, do what's right, don't be a lazy freaking bum, get your ass out there and you find that freaking dog.
My credit cards got the best of me. To paint the picture, I was a teacher that got my hands on $17K in credit card debt, and I started balling out. These are 2 of 6 credit cards that I maxed out. But I was able to pay off all that debt in 1 year, and this is exactly how I did it. These are the 6 credit cards that I maxed out. I put them in order from largest balance to smallest balance. I started by putting as much money as possible at my smallest card, while simultaneously making minimum payments at the other 5. And because this balance was the smallest, I was able to pay this off really quick. This initial payoff allows you the satisfaction of a quick win, and that's really important. Then I took all that money that I was using to pay off that first one and started rolling that into Capital One. From there, I just kept going. And eventually, I was able to pay off this biggest one in no time. This method is known as the debt snowball, and it was popularized by Dave Ramsey. Now, I'm not a mega fan of Dave Ramsey, but he is really good for getting people out of debt. Like, follow, and let me know in the comments how you're going after your debt.
Props to him, man. I mean, props to him for taking initiative and paying off his credit card debt. And that's what you have to do, guys. I mean, there's different ways you can go about paying off your credit card debt. But I love the snowball method, which is what he just explained. You organize all of your debts. You pay off the smallest portion first, and you pay minimum payments on all the other debts that you have until the smallest one gets paid off. And then all the payments that were going towards the smallest now get moved towards the second smallest, and all that extra money gets applied to that debt until that's paid off, and then all that extra money goes to the next debt until that's paid off. That's the snowball method, because it just continues to get larger and larger amounts of money as you continue to pay off different debts and put it into the next one. Now, the other one that I want to discuss is called the debt avalanche, and what that means is you start off by paying off the highest interest debt first. So maybe you have a $500, a $1,000, and a $3,000 debt, but if that $3,000 debt has the higher interest rate, well, then with the debt avalanche method, you pay off the $3,000 first because it has the higher interest rate, which is giving you that higher return back on your money once you pay off that debt. Now, to me, I say pick your poison, like whichever one you feel comfortable doing. Whenever my wife and I paid off our $60,000 of student loans, we chose to do, I believe, gosh, I can't even remember now. I think we did the avalanche method. We chose to do the highest interest rate first, but that was because the snowball method's more to keep you motivated, but I knew I was getting this debt gone. I didn't need that extra motivation from the snowball method, so I wanted to attack the highest interest rate first, and that was motivating to me, knowing that I was attacking the higher interest rate, and that was basically creating me more savings along the way because of getting rid of those higher interest debts. So credit cards are nasty, guys. They suck, and to be honest, like if you cannot pay off your credit card debt at the end of every single month in a lump sum full balance of whatever's showing on your statement, you probably shouldn't be using credit cards. I'm just going to say it that way. It's one of the worst things you can get stuck into is credit card debt. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, do not forget to check out the link down below in the description as well as the pinned comment to try out and get your 2 free week trial at Aura to protect your identity. It's highly, highly needed nowadays, especially with all these data breaches that are going on. And again, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And until next video, you all take care.